Hey there, Brian Miller, the small town movie watcher. I just got done watching The Big Short. This movie is rated R for language and for brief nudity. This movie stars Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt. It's also directed by Adam McKay, the same guy who brought Moneyball, which also stars, that's right, you got it, Brad Pitt. Hey, so this movie was pretty good. It's about the financial collapse of the housing market in 2007 and 2008. This movie kind of hits home for me. Not that I lost a house or that I lost my savings or my 401k. Oh wait, I work for a nonprofit, so not that I lost my 403b, but the fact that I was trying to sell my very first house in 2008, and when it came down to it, nobody was buying anymore. Even with the rebound, people still aren't buying in the little town that I sold this, am selling that house in. But this is about the movie. I thought this movie was pretty good, really good, just because of the actors and the fact that one of my favorite things in all the world is when the actors break the fourth wall. I think I really got into this when I started reading comic books, Deadpool, and he really breaks the fourth wall all the time. So I'm looking forward to that movie because in this type of movie, the actors acknowledge that there is someone watching and they're willing to give just a bit more of a backstory of what's happening. So they're taking you for a ride and they're just saying, you know what? This is what really happened. And one of the examples is when a group of guys, a group of investors, came across this one prospectus of how to invest in the coming shortfall of the housing market, and they said that they just picked up this prospectus at, I think it was Merrill Lynch, and one of the actors broke the fourth wall and said, "Yeah, we didn't really find it this way. We found it this way." So it was one of those that, hey, we're really telling you what happened, but because we're on the screen, we got to do it this way. It's more, it grips you more. So this movie was really good. I really enjoyed Steve Carell's performance in it, and the simple fact that we always think of, and we, by the audience, I mean, think of Steve Carell as a comedian, but he really does come across in these serious dramatic roles as well. In Foxcatcher and also in this movie is a very serious and a very matter-of-fact type of person. And in this movie, he's just playing an angry man and he does it very well. So the things that I didn't like about the movie, it hit a little close to home for me as I think about the house that I have sold, as I think about how am I going to sell another house when it comes time. The other two things that I didn't like is always the language, and did the nudity really bring something to the movie? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. For me, the story can be told without nudity in it. So think about it this way. Should you go and watch this movie? I thought it was a good movie. It's a movie that was out in limited release starting at Christmas, and now it's in a much wider release here in Lincoln. We just got it, and it's the second week of January, so we just got it, and it was for a very limited run at our movie theater. So if you're looking for it, look for it now. Otherwise, you're going to have to find it at an art house, or you're going to have to wait for it to show up on digital or DVD Blu-ray. So take a chance. I think this was a good movie. For me, it was worth my $7. It was worth my $7 for the popcorn and the pop. I think that you might enjoy it as well. Ryan Gosling puts a great performance. Brad Pitt puts forth a good performance. Really solid in the character development roles. The cinematography, not as good as the last movie of The Hateful Eight, but I think that this was a great story, a good movie. I think it's worth the time for you to go and watch. So take time, go watch it. Otherwise, I want you to go find a movie, get lost in it. Again, Brian Miller, small town movie watcher. This was The Big Short.